relationship. So like if you put that on there, I can only imagine the things they would shove into my face.
There's that great commercial.
Like it'd be like Donald Trump's, big head.
Oh god.
Sure, turn the screen around.
Do you need anything else before you?
And remember, it cuts out in an hour and a half.
I've got my timer
check
on.
I just want to be sure.
I wore orange for Halloween because I like to wear orange.
I wore blue because it green's out.
Set timer for 1 hour and 25 minutes.
Oh God.
Just in case. Like Curtis. Do you know Curtis Freisel? Have you ever met him?
No.
He's one of my other collaborators. He's one of those people who is one of those people where you get together with somebody and you can stand outside on the sidewalk and talk for hours.
I'm that person.
Yeah, that's how I met Eric Loya. Eric Loya and Catherine, we were at a thing, and we had met previously doing extra work. And he remembered, maybe a year or two later, we both went to this thing called...
jail?
No, not jail. It was basically this kind of theater thing where you would write a sketch and bring it in on a Friday, and you would show up at like 10 o'clock, cast your thing, rehearse it for an hour, and then everybody would go up at 11 and have scripts in their hands. No Shade Theater, that's what it was called.
Okay.
And
I think Sketch Camp is better.
Sketch Camp?
Yeah.
Well, there's different places that have a version of this.
Yeah, and so it was interesting. We would basically just show up and do. And the first time I went, the only thing I got cast in was somebody gave me one line, and the line was no.
Oh no!
One word, and that's all I got to do.
Did you get a laugh?
And so maybe I can't remember, but then the next week, Eric wrote me wrote a sketch just to have me come in and say no. And
sounds like something.
And so it was very.
That sounds exactly like.
It was very funny, and so we that night, that second weekend, we stood outside and chatted for literally like 2 hours, and I mean it ends at midnight, so we were out there until like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
This homeless guy walked up to us, and it was great because he went up to Eric and was like, "Hey, you Rainbow?" And we were like,
What?
"What?"
Rainbow.
I was like, you Rainbow. And I'm like, and it was so funny because I had already asked him if he was gay because I didn't know that Catherine was his girlfriend at the time.
Right.
And so I burst out laughing.
He doesn't come off as like I'm trying to get pussy.
Right,
kind
exactly.
Of guy,
He's got quality.
Yeah.
So I burst out laughing.
Most backhanded compliment ever.
Exactly. I burst out laughing, and then Eric was like, "No, this is my girlfriend." And then so even on the way, like when we split up, I texted him and said, "See, even drunk people think you're gay."
To me, that's the third interpretation. That would be of you Rainbow. I would think he's looking for a guy named Rainbow to buy drugs from.
That's what I thought. That was my first.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
No.
But that's because I'm not gay.
Right.
So Rainbow to me doesn't.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'll have to check back with Eric.
Or maybe
and see if that could have been a possibility
He
of that
was asking like,
situation.
do you Rainbow, as in do you partake of Skittles? Maybe.
Do you taste the rainbow?
I see. I see that you Rainbow.
Yeah.
Rainbow.
Yeah.
I was in line at the Abbey once, and this girl came up to me.
Are we recording? Because we're all talking.
We're recording, but
Yeah, we are.
we haven't started.
never know.
This is just
Because we're all like,
We're that perfect little
right?
joke.
Because
that's
just us
for the
sitting
cold
around
open.
talking is like we're making sure.
It's all the best podcasts that start recording. Just 'cause that's the goal.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the humanity.
Right. All the,
Get
all
everyone
the
at
good
ease,
stuff right at the
and
beginning.
then knock it right out and do the intro and make everyone
Knock
else
it
sit
right
together.
out. I'll knock something right out.
I
a lot of
was,
cables.
Do you feel like you're leaning over too much? Do you want to put your microphone on something?
Yeah, I feel like.
Yeah. Here, can I have?
Hey guys.
Do you think something?
Yes.
Do you think like this book is
I
enough?
have been,
Probably.
even still like this.
no, I was in line at the Abbey one time, and this girl was like, "Do you know where to find Molly?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry, I don't know Molly." And she's like, "Oh, okay." And she walks away, and my friend who was in line with me was like, "Jeff, she was asking you where to buy drugs."
Oh, really?
And I'm like,
Why would anyone ask you where to buy drugs?
I don't know.
You
It's why
You know what I mean?
The other guy would ask,
There's like
you are
a
hooked up.
line of
Clearly.
people. The
Yeah.
last person would be like, that one. You know what I mean? Just
That
at
guy's
this
holding.
table. That's just at this table. I
Yeah.
would not ask you for
Right,
drugs.
exactly.
Well, it's the,
I mean, what do I know?
it's
I
the
don't
right
know.
age to have that.
My first experience when I went to visit my brother in New York. He was a doctor, and so he was taking me out like every night to these clubs in New York. And for New Year's Eve, we went to this place called Twilo, and it was like $125 cover. It was
What?
It was.
Jeez.
I know, right? And he was like, "Is your Christmas present?" I was like, "I'd rather have the
I'd
cash."
really rather have the money.
But we went in anyway, and so it was this dance club, and we.
Was it like designed
was-
like Twilight, the movie?
No.
Like
It was
vampires?
this was like the year 2000, and so it was very. I think it was very sparse, but it was weird because in the middle of the night it shifted. Just I was dancing, and all of a sudden, it had been like this mixed crowd, and all of a sudden I opened my eyes, and it's turned into this sea of shirtless men. And so it like shifted into a gay club.
You were like, this is my fantasy. This is the best Christmas present ever.
I really didn't know it because at the time I was still dating girls in college, and I was like, not really hot. Yeah.
One pill. There it is.
No, but this one guy.
It never occurred to me that you dated women at one point.
I did. I experimented in college.
Did you have sex with them?
Oh yeah.
Wow. You were like, this is
How was
terrible.
It was all right. Guys are better. But
I can't testify.
I mean it. I never had sex with a woman.
Don't knock it till you try it.
I wonder what you
not
think.
gonna.
I wonder how you would think about sex with a woman because it's my logic in it was guys know what guys like. It's just because we have sex with girls was so weird because if you one of my girlfriends was actually communicative and could tell me what, but like my first two girlfriends were like. I just had no clue. You just have no idea what it feels like, But anyway, so this club.
Well, that's the same for straight men too, just for the record.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. Seriously, I mean, it's important to communicate, but with guys, there's not. With other guys having sex with other guys, there's less of that. Like everyone still has personal preferences, but you basically
Slow down, bro.
Yeah.
Is it like that?
Yes, it's exactly.
That's
like
exactly like it.
Well,
Were you here last night?
Bro, take it easy.
done.
Oh, sorry, dude.
But yeah, everyone calls each other dude, bro.
Well, I always wonder because I've never had sex with a woman. For me, the way I can't wrap, I understand gay men because I understand wanting to suck cock. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That makes sense to me.
Right.
But for women, I don't understand it because like there's a mechanics part of it that I'm like, but like for a gay man, like the thing goes in the hole and then it's a girl hole and then or the thing goes in a hole and it's a boy hole. A boy hole. And but like for
Either
women,
way, I think
a thing goes in a hole.
Right,
So like if I was with a woman, I'd be like, I don't have a thing to put in your hole.
Right. Exactly. Well, technically, you have 10 things.
So I mean, I do, but like listen. When this is in my hole versus like a cock being in my hole, it's different. You know what I mean? Like I'd be like.
I've had the occasion to ask this question.
But maybe that's not the sensation they want.
It is though.
Well, but it's
they
weird
basically
because
have to. They go shopping together for dildos.
Yeah.
They pick which one you like, and they each pick one.
Oh, and then you gotta.
And then there's scissoring.
Yeah.
I don't know if they really do that.
I don't think that's real.
Park.
I'm sorry.
You think that's
I'm
just
a lesbian on
something
the
from
line.
South Park?
I don't. I'm curious.
What is scissoring?
I mean, I know what it's supposed to be, but I don't know if women really do that.
I'll
I try
tell
to
you.
imagine if that would feel good for me, and I'll be like, I don't know.
I think it's probably just
I
like
don't
the
know how it
surface impression of what's going on, and there's like so much other stuff going on that they really don't bother with that.
We don't have that much other stuff, is what I'm saying.
Oh, don't sell yourself short.
You've got tons of stuff.
I got tons of stuff. I have so much stuff down there. It's crazy.
But
I could have a yard sale.
Hey-o.
Down there.
Boy.
The podcast has not started.
No.
We haven't.
I think that's one of the video podcasts.
Welcome to Boy Cow After Dark in the morning.
After dark in the morning.
Anyway, I was at Twilo, and I'm 20 years old and young and impressionable, and this guy comes up to me, and I was taking a break, sitting on a bench or something, and this guy comes up to me and goes, "You rolling?" And I was like,
You roll.
I don't know. What? Are you rolling? And I was like, it's a drug reference, right? And he's like, yeah, E. And I was like,
It's a letter.
even,
Is it silent E?
F, G. And he's like, ecstasy, man. I was like, oh, I've heard of that. No, I'm not.
No.
He just walked. And then later on the
I feel
night.
like a good rule of thumb is if you don't understand the question, you're probably not doing it.
Right, exactly. And then later on the night, this one guy was had those glow sticks, and was doing the glow sticks, and he dropped one. And I kind of snagged it because I was like, hey, free glow stick. And I looked at
Dude, free glow stick.
I looked at the guy, and he
don't
was
remind me not to drop my purse near him. Ooh, free purse! Like, don't drop anything near Travis. He's like, oh, it hit the ground.
I'm an opportunist. What can I say? No, but like if it had been valuable,
I'm touching, it's fine.
I didn't think it was valuable. It's just
It's a glow stick, right?
It's a glow stick,
It costs
right?
25 cents in a pack of
They're
25.
just-
Exactly,
whatever,
but the look on his face, it was like his mother had died. Like, he was so forlorn over the loss of this glow stick. I was like, oh, I found your glow stick. And it made me feel so bad that he was just heartbroken over the loss of this glow stick. And so
But
I
then
gave
you
it back
gave
to
him back.
I gave it back to him, and he was happy. He was really thrilled to have it back.
I'm sure.
Anyway.
So the lesson here is like Travis will totally be a dick, but then he'll like make it up to you.
And then they
like-
fell in love.
It's empathy. Empathy is my weakness.
Exactly.
Empathy is as long as you don't care that you lost it, I won't care. But if as soon as I know it, you have pain, then I'll be nice to you. All right.
I just have so much pain, Travis.
Shut up,
We're
Jeffrey.
not being upset.
Jeffrey.
And welcome back to another episode of Boy Kyle Radio. My name is Travis Ritchie, and this is episode 54. Is that right?
That is correct.
My goodness.
Studio 54.
That's right. Oh, we're just talking about studios. With me, as always, are my good friends Mark W. Gray
Present.
and Jeffrey Gardner.
Hello.
And we have another special guest with us this week. Those of you who are familiar with my work will know, of course, Carrie Keranen, who is not only an actress in your own right and very successful, but you are probably more
In my own
successful
right.
than I am as an actor.
I don't know how does one measure success?
Your IMDb rating, obviously.
Is that how? I don't even
I don't
know.
know.
What
It's
it
up
is.
through
I'm not
fulfillment
sure.
and personal actualization.
How many
okay.
Twitter subscribers you got?
I don't know.
Twitter subscribers? That's not
And
what
that's
they
not
are.
even
They're
the right
followers.
followers. Yeah,
God damn
dude.
it.
I don't
How
know.
many subscribers do you have?
Numbers.
I'm clueless.
I have at least 2 good friends in this world,
That's sweet.
and that matters.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's, what was it? It was like if I weren't living in LA, if I were living in the middle of bumfuck Georgia, and had people who needed to help me with moving, or who bought me chicken soup when I was sick. Which friends are those? And that's who I want to spend time with here. Like who was I? If I
You
wasn't
only
in
want
LA.
to spend time with people from Georgia. That's
No,
what I
they will
heard.
help
you.
That's
But
what I
if
heard.
I were-
I heard Georgians like really strong.
They're like
I
heavy
don't know.
lifting.
and they
They're
can just
strong
move
lower
stuff, and
backs.
they're great
Yeah.
at like plucking chickens
They're
and
really
like
well
making
organized.
like chicken noodle soup from
Yeah.
scratch.
Yep.
It's okay if you buy the chicken noodle soup, like from Costco or something. Like good
good,
chicken noodle
solid-
soup, not
But I think-
Campbell's.
Not Greenblatt's. I mean,
Greenblatt's? Is that a thing? Did you just make that up?
That's deli.
Yeah,
It's
Greenblatt's Deli. It's like the best. It's like one of the best
right around the corner.
delis.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like right by you. Oh my
Oh.
god, their matzo ball soup. I like woke up. It was a little overcasty
Yeah.
on like Sunday maybe, and I woke up. I was like, I want matzo ball soup.
Are you
And
Jewish?
I was
So
like
you
craving it
come from
after
that? You
4,
come
and then
from
after
like
4 years, after 4 hours, I was like, I can't handle it anymore, and I had to like order it. And I like went over and got like a quart of matzo ball soup.
Oh,
You've
wow.
never had their matzo ball soup
No,
because it's
never heard
matzo
of
ball, like
Greenblatt's.
chicken, basically like a chicken
broth.
broth.
Yeah.
Yeah, with a bunch of chicken and
Right.
celery and
Do they
carrots.
have like is it
Tennis
the
ball
ones
size
that
cracker
have the
crunch.
big strips of chicken meat?
Yeah,
and,
they have like chunks of
actually,
it.
yeah.
They have chunks of it, and then like a big like ball of like
Matzah.
It's
matzo.
cracker crumbs,
Cracker
basically.
crumbs,
Yeah.
basically. It's so good.
It's like a ball of dough sitting.
It's,
Yeah, no, I've had matzo ball soup,
Yeah.
but I think that I had it from
Campers?
Jerry's.
Jerry's. Okay.
Okay.
We've hit all the
Today's
we've hit all the
show is
bases.
brought to you
But
Jerry's.
it's interesting
Campers.
because Greenblatt's does sound like it's going to be like an Irish like dive bar.
No, black. I know. You're
You know
right.
what I
It's
mean?
green.
You know, like Greenblatt.
But like
you
the-
don't really pay attention to the back half, and you
Yeah.
think it's like some like Irish pub, and then you're like,
Yeah.
hey, that
But the
matzo
most
soup.
Jewish person I know took me there.
The most Jewish person.
Yeah.
So.
Max
Then it's
Gottlieb
real.
took me there.
Oh yeah, that's.
And we had like it's like you gotta have this soup. You gotta
Yeah, but
I like
I'm
matzo
not I'm not Jewish, but I grew up in a very Jewish. Like there are 3 synagogues within walking distance of my house.
Oh wow.
And, like there's a lot of Orthodox Jewish.
But I have to be
people
within
who-
walking distance. That's the
Yeah,
if you're gonna-
exactly,
you can't
exactly.
drive, let's say.
Well, everything's
So-
within walking distance if you've got the time.
I guess that's true.
That's just true.
If you had like a lot of time.
New York, here I come. It's only going to take me.
You know what? You can.
Yeah.
Google Maps will tell you what the walking time is to get
All right,
to
someone's gotta look that
anywhere.
up. That's you.
Yeah.
That's you.
But
But yeah, so there were a lot of Jewish delis
Yeah.
where I grew up, and so matzo ball soup was like
where was
childhood
that?
favorite.
Where'd you grow up?
Oak Park, Michigan.
Oh.
Outside Detroit. Oh, look at that.
I've been
You
there.
guys were like in like
Yeah.
chorus.
Well,
I'm from
and
Indiana.
did I know you were another Midwest person?
Probably in your heart, probably in your soul.
Maybe that's why we
deep
connect.
down,
That's why
and
we
you were like,
connect.
that's
He's
it.
empathetic.
Maybe that's why we
No, he
connected.
never
It's just
thought to ask
empathy.
before.
Have we ever
Yeah.
told the story about how we met?
Oh my gosh, I don't know.
Like, because
We were at
I
a
don't
club.
know.
You
Well,
dropped
because
your
We were
glow
at a
stick.
club, I dropped my glow stick. And someone stole it, and then Travis miraculously found it.
I gave it back. Bought it like for the sake of the story. I got it from the guy who stole it.
Cool story.
Oh yeah, for
Um,
the sake of the story.
The
It will take you 38 hours, or 38 days.
I was like,
rather.
8 hours.
Hours,
Trip
that's
fast
not-
walker. What pace did you put in there?
38 days to New York.
Well, that's nice. I wonder
It's actually
how
not that
how long
bad.
did it take Forrest Gump to run across the country
I
then?
did it like 4 times in 2 years or something.
Okay. Wow,
We don't know if he was continuous.
Yeah,
or took different
that much.
paths
He's a
and
slow
stuff.
He
jogger.
grew
but
like about a foot of beard.
he did,
It's
yeah.
about a 2-year beard.
Okay.
That's how you're doing it. You're like, that's about 2 years.
You know something
If
that's
anyone
actually
would
good
know,
with
it's
measurement is the, like, you know about light years, how far light can go in a year? There's a thing called a beard second, which is how much your beard grows in a second. Like based
Is that
on,
like the opposite of a light year? Like the
It's a
shortest
tiny
distance you
amount
can
of time.
measure is a
As a
beard
beard
it's a
second.
beard second, it is. Yeah. That's absolutely right.
But is it like a standard for all men everywhere?
No.
I
Can't
doubt
be.
it. It's
no,
not.
I mean,
But
light
that's
is
also,
pretty standard,
Yeah,
right?
light
Like,
is a
travels
universal
in
constant.
one-
Yeah.
and also hair grows to the length it's going to grow, then it stops. You know, it gets kind of a point on the
Like
end.
my
What?
intellect.
And like the hair in your head will grow longer, but it will eventually stop growing. And the hair, like here on your arms, grows to like, more
Listen,
instead of
Oh,
grow longer.
okay.
I heard that if there's like this peanut butter solution that you can have.
Sorry.
There was a
I don't know, but that's a good band name, the Peanut Butter Solution.
there's a movie called The Peanut Butter Solution, and the person had it and it like grew all this hair and okay, forget it.
No,
No. And now I want to know what this
I'm sorry, is it a documentary?
No,
Or?
it was like a children's movie.
Oh,
like I
all right.
was aware of it when
I thought you were going to hook up with some
So
great, like,
Wait, what is the problem that
Put peanut
the
butter
Peanut
in
Butter
your
Solution
own.
is solving?
I don't remember. All I remember is that there was something about a peanut butter solution, and he like either ate it or put it on, and then he like just grew all this like hair, and it ended up being like this like big hair, and he had to
Like
cut
all
it. So
over his body?
Like, but no, his hair grew all the way. He like woke up the next day, and the hair like had grown to like his feet.
Well, I know that when
And
you
it was
get
just,
gum in your hair.
terrifying.
peanut butter is how you get it out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And maybe that's it. Maybe it started with gum.
maybe.
the oil.
Maybe.
That's exactly what
Yeah,
happened
I don't
here.
remember.
Oh!
Note to self: don't bring up references. You cannot back up with any other information.
But that
Then you
means
can pick up
It's
a whole
like
other thing.
songs.
Look,
I don't know any of the lyrics to songs. I'll know like 8 bars, and then that same 8 bars will just loop.
Yeah.
And I don't know the-
something.
Yeah.
somewhere nice.
I actually sort of know that one only because it says South Detroit. It says
Yeah.
everyone in
Are
the
you,
Detroit
do
area
you get
knows.
pissed off that there's no South Detroit?
I don't get pissed off.
Because I had a friend of mine who was like, "There's no South Detroit." And I'm like, "There is."
There's South
Because there's a South. There's always
Yeah,
a
there's
South
a South
part of
Detroit
the
and
city.
there's a
Yeah.
But it's not really like I don't really think it's like a neighborhood that people
No,
refer to.
of course
like,
not.
South
And I
Detroit,
never
you know,
thought
like-
so. I never like.
I feel
went
like
through the
you
song.
really wanted to say like South Chicago, but like it was too
But it
many
didn't
syllables or didn't
What about
rhyme
with
or
boy?
something.
Small town boy, South Detroit.
Detroit.
There you go.
Yeah, I never
They recently did a
listening
linguistic
to the
study.
song.
They did what?
Recently did a linguistic study about how we perceive sound and why like rappers can use not exact rhymes
Yeah,
like that.
half rhymes.
But
New
they
rhymes.
know they're like how they know that they can mess it. They can like they have leeway on the last syllable, but you can't do it in the middle syllable.
Somebody should
Because,
tell
like, the
Katy
way
Perry
we-
because she rhymes fire with fire.
I know, right? She has to work harder. Let's say like boy,
Oh,
Detroit, fantastic. I took us off the
But I'm going
I'm
to
the best guest so
I'm going to
far.
assume,
You
like
are.
not knowing
Right.
what the peanut butter solution was about, I'm going to assume that the problem was gum in his hair, and he.
Look it up. Look it up. You're the producer, right? Look up PMI Solution.
Here's
It's a movie
here's your
or
laptop.
something.
Use
I
it.
got my
Yes.
smartphone.
All right.
It's all there.
Yes.
And so
Report
and so he had gum in his hair, and the peanut butter solution was to put peanut butter, and
Yeah,
then
it works.
the unintended consequence of peanut butter was long flowing locks.
I think that he had the gum in
It
his
sounds
hair.
like the
Yeah.
opposite of a
I
problem.
think he had the gum in the hair,
Yeah.
and he put it in there. But
Yeah.
because he's like a young boy,
Yeah.
he was just like didn't know when to stop.
Lathered
And
it
he
up.
just like lathered it
That's
up,
right.
and, like went,
Exactly.
or he fell asleep while he was doing it, and then it just like poured into him, and that's why.
But the other peanut butter solution I've heard of is it's more of an adult thing
Oh,
where you put peanut butter on your ding dong
and
And what?
and have the dog come and lick it.
okay.
Oh, interesting.
But there's actually a thing in Japan called butter dogs, and then they
I don't want to know.
it
The
just
answer. I can tell already.
Yeah.
How do you not already? I feel like you would be the judge. One of your big.
Right.
So Carrie and I met because obviously she is the she's Piper Tate on the Inspector Chronicles, and we met originally because we were at a workshop, like a casting director workshop, right?
Mhm, yeah.
Oh yes, that's it. You
Yes,
did this.
the monologue.
You did this monologue about what is it? It's about a girl who is on a date with a black guy. Is that it?
No, she's on a date with a white guy
A white
that
guy.
she expected to be a black guy,
Okay.
and so she
Okay.
can't date it. She can't date him because she only dates black men.
I see.
And it was actually written by Atto Isando, who was on Copper,
Okay.
and is now on Shooting Vinyl, Martin Scorsese's new HBO
Sure.
Oh,
show.
wow.
Yeah, so he
Cool.
actually wrote it years ago. This is, oh my gosh, going way, way back for this like evening of like scenes and monologues that him and his friend, another writer, Joshua James, who just did the Jean-Claude Van Damme movie.
Wait, JCVD or the something after that?
It's called.
If only we had someone to look it up.
If only we had someone to look it up.
Because the last Jean-Claude Van Damme movie I was aware of was JCVD.
No, it just came out and it takes place. It's actually really good. I saw the preview. It's really good.
I'm really glad that Jean-Claude Van Damme has not gone the Steven Seagal route and just become like this crazy lunatic.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think don't we all just become crazy lunatics as we age? Like, I hope. I'm hoping. I can't wait. When I used to walk to school in the morning. When I used to walk to school in the morning, to the elementary school, it was nearby. There was this old lady who would sleep like on a towel on her front lawn with like a sun hat over her face that we would walk by, and she would also like be outside and like she'd be like getting weeds out of her lawn with like tweezers. And I remember,
tweezers?
yes, with tweezers, like very meticulous.
Wow.
Apparently, the inside of her house was like a disaster. But everyone's like, oh, well, she's just old. She's eccentric. And I was like, whoa. You mean that when you get older, everybody just gives you like a free pass,
Do crazy shit,
and you can just like do crazy shit, and like no one's gonna say anything to you. And I was like, I can't wait to be 60. And, like since I was like 8 years old, my whole goal is to like grow up into like an old eccentric woman. Yeah,
wow, really?
Yeah, I remember being like,
Is
amazing.
that still your goal, or because
I feel like it is. I really feel like my golden years are going to be my golden years.
You don't find yourself to be eccentric now. Are you
I know, but, like,
stuffing it down?
I know, but now I feel like there's still some like expectation of society for me to fit in some way. And like once you get like old enough, you're like it's like you become like a lost cause, and then you're just like free reign. It's like total freedom.
That
What
makes
would
sense.
you? What do you feel? What do you?
What would you do?
What do you feel is
I don't
inhibited
know.
about your
I feel like I would wear crazy. I'd sleep on my lawn. I don't know. I guess I feel like there's going to be this.
You say that like sleeping on the lawn is a great thing. It's kind of a drag. It's
Yeah.
cold. It's wet, and
No,
people
I
walk
don't
by
know.
and see
But
you.
this is exactly what I'm talking about. If I were a 65-year-old woman, I was like, I'm sleeping on my lawn. You would never be like, say that to me. But because
Well,
I am,
actually, I
you'd be
would.
like,
I would
no,
try
it's
if
not
I
gonna
knew you.
be
I'd be
like,
like, are you
you'd be
okay?
like, listen, yeah, but you would be like, no, it's gonna be this, it's gonna be that. Like, there's all this logic. There's all this like, hey, no, we have to behave. We have to follow these logical rules.
But
Like,
it's not
it's gonna
because
be wet. It's gonna be this. It's gonna be that. But if I go crazy, you'd be like, you're all right. I'd be like, I'm fine. You'd be like, all right. Maybe it's not her net. And then you just like walk away. You know what I mean? So then I can live my life without your commentary.
All
That's
right.
what I'm looking forward
All
to.
right, I get it. It makes sense.
All right. But I don't think you can. I think even when you're old and you're kooky and crazy, people still judge you constantly.
Yeah, but they
I feel
don't-
like
they don't
to you.
say it.
They don't
that.
say
That's
it.
just
Yeah,
up,
they don't
that's
say
just
it.
up to you.
Go, you know what I mean?
To not give a
Go.
fuck. That's just up to you. You could not give a fuck right now.
I
You don't
don't.
have to be old.
I don't give a fuck right now, but I still have to go through the mechanics of the conversation now.
Sure.
Like,
That makes
you know, in like 40 years, I'm gonna be like, no one's gonna say it. Or if they do, I can just pretend like I mean, I'm like, I can hear you. I can hear you. I'm old.
Is that your old person voice?
It's going to be starting now.
Yeah, that's it. You can at least do your European accent as you
I'm gonna
go.
go to like Greenblatt's and I'm gonna eat matzo ball soup.
I can't finish the soup. Give me some more.
I'm just gonna,
need a
this
doggy
soup is
bag.
delicious! This soup is delicious! Who got the soup? Anybody else get the soup? But I feel like I can't really do that now.
No,
can't
of course
really
not.
do that now.
I wish you would. I think you should let it fly, baby. Let it fly.
I would
Your
love
freak
to
flag
do. I would
fly.
love to find a good makeup artist who can make us up into old people and just go be old people for a day.
Oh my god, that'd be
and
amazing.
test this theory of yours.
Yes, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. We've got it. Throw a rock, we can hit a makeup artist, right? That we know here in Los
Somebody-
Angeles.
to do something
You know?
convincing. I don't know because they did this. There was this video that I saw where they made people old in order to get their reaction. Yeah, the couples videos.
That was a field day video.
Yeah, but the makeup was not convincing
Oh.
to me. It was like it was okay.
A few of them were. Like, a few of them just weren't.
Yeah.
Like, there was like 8 different looks, and
Yeah.
like 2 of them were just terrible. Most of them were pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I also feel like there must be something about the face that you're aging, like how well you can age it. Up,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, it's
You
true.
know what I mean?
Because, yeah. And it's also, it's like people
Because
age
when
different.
you're so young and beautiful,
I know. What are you, about 25, 26?
then you can't really. It's so hard to imagine what it look like. Saggy.
That's true.
But anyway, so we met in this workshop. We met in this workshop, and I did. So and I was very like nervous because it's kind of a bold monologue to
Yeah,
do,
it is,
you
it
know, especially in like
in front of casting directors and
in front of casting. Like I was like, oh god. So I was really sweating, and I was waiting to the end. I was like, okay.
I was dying.
And what was amazing is that there's this African American man, this like looked to be like 40, like very attractive man, like right in the front row. And so before I started, I leaned forward, I touched him on the knee, and I was like, I want to apologize in advance for everything I'm about to do. And he was like, okay. And then I got up and I did it, and like this monologue kills. Like if people are on board for it, it like kills. And if they're not on board for it, it's like the most painful crickets you've ever heard in your life. So, but we did it, and like I sat back down, and Travis was like, hello, new friend. And I was like, hello, new friend.
I think my first sentence to you was, look, I'm gay, so I'm not hitting on you.
It actually does.
But you are incredible, and I think it was shortly after that, maybe a couple of months or something, that we were casting for the first season of the Inspector Spaceman web series, and so I called Carrie in, and we only called in people we knew. And so Carrie was maybe one of 6 people that we called in, and she knocked it out of the park. It was perfect.
Which is great. I was so nervous about it. I was like, oh my god, I love it so much. I was so nervous that like I was totally confused. I like couldn't find the place. I was late. Like I was like, oh my god, you are making the worst impression right now. And I came in and I was like, I was such a fucking spaz.
Really?
And I did not know like what was going on. And inside my inside voice was like, get it together, calm down. What are you doing? Like, focus. And I was like, ah! So,
have you seen your screen test for it?
I just saw like you posted like a little thing, but it was
a
actually
little trailer.
it was just my
your audition.
The audition.
Yeah.
Of
We didn't
scene.
screen test, but yeah, it was
Right.
just your audition. We I put up the whole thing for I put up the whole thing for donors.
Oh.
It was like a donor perk to see your screen test, and it's really good.
Oh god.
And so I adore working with you, and like anytime I want to do it more, I want to work with you in more things, because every time we work together, you make me laugh, which pisses you off.
Oh my god. Well, in long shots, it pisses me off. In long shots.
Well, because we had episode
because we have to like
2.
reset to the beginning. I'll be like, you're like, it's so funny. I was like, you know what I'm gonna say. You wrote it. We rehearsed it. And you're like, I know, you're just so funny. I was like,
But it's
stop
the
laughing.
way-
I will kill you. I will rip your face off. If you laugh
But it
at me
was the
again.
way, and specifically, this is episode 2 of the first season, where the idea was to do this one long take of this, where we both lean into camera and do this. It's the flee, fled, flown scene, and we lean out and we get out of camera and then we lean back in, and but you would do things that even writing it, I didn't hear. You would uncover new things about the delivery or about and it was awesome. So
Again,
anyway.
he's gay, so he's not hitting on you.
No, it was just so we get through it, and Travis was like,
I see the blooper reel. There's like 10 takes of it.
Oh,
where
we
he
did
just
like
loses
17 takes. I mean, it must have been at least like 17.
And we
takes.
did not have a lot of time.
And we did. And we also like we're super pressed for time, but it was like the only benefit was that like Travis was also like technically the producer on set, so like he was wasting his own time by laughing, like by breaking character and like laughing at his own thing. So like
bad.
I was like, listen, it's your
My favorite bit from the blooper reel is when they needed someone to read for their doubles, the Evil Inspector and Evil Boys, and you did it and the subtitle says Piper takes over since she's there anyway, and you're reading it and you're making him laugh, and you're like, Travis, come on.
Because you know what it was? We had someone else reading, and whoever it was trying to read the lines was really bad at it.
You don't realize how some people just cannot read out loud.
Yeah. It's
Like,
no, wait,
it's
you
not
can't do this. Stop. Wait.
It was bad. And then
finally I was like, I'm doing it. I was like, I have the whole scene memorized at this point.
exactly, right? Exactly.
So I started, and I also was like, but I also
then
decided,
your first time you messed up, right?
I stumbled at one point because I then in my mind decided, won't it be helpful if I try to do my impression of Travis and Eric on their side of the scene, which then ended up being like a disaster. It was like the worst idea because I did like just enough, just well enough for everyone to know what I was trying to do, but just horrible enough for it to be like totally distracting. And Eric's like, is that what I sound like? The whole thing like fell apart. So and then I was like, all right, get it together.
Yeah, it was good. And then the other one was when you would do
He's laughing now.
I defy any one of you to know who is good and who is evil. And
Conclusively.
Whenever if you want to make Travis laugh, just be very triumphant. Say anything triumphantly, and he thinks it's hysterical.
Dude, well, Piper, but I think that especially for Piper, it was your discovery of her character. Like when we wrote her, it was very less. And the same thing happened with Robot and Robot Ninja Giga. We didn't really have so much of his character down, except Ryan discovered it. And you did the same thing for Piper, where you kind of discovered that she loved the Inspector like a fangirl loves Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
Not so much like a real like affection, but
well, what really happened was because that wasn't necessarily the idea I even came into the audition room with.
Yeah.
You know, like I definitely had like the sidekick, you know, the partner sidekick, you know, feeling, and then like of course there's like admiration for the person you're the sidekick to.
Yeah.
But really where it solidified was that walk-in talk, the very first thing
shot.
we shot. And Travis is so much taller than me, and he even had like a little bit of a heel from his dress shoes, and I was in these like flat Converse sneakers.
Oh, right.
So I'm like in the shot, it's like from my nose up, if like he's framed or whatever. So I had to like get on my tippy toes, and so I literally was like jaunting on my tippy toes. Like,
and you had to end on an apple box, didn't you?
And I had to end on an apple box. So like I had like tip toe like onto the apple box and try and make it seem like you know it was like I was leaving, you know.
It's like the mother shots level of mine.
Right, exactly. So
intense.
so there was something about, and it was like the first thing we shot is we're getting in character and and so like there's something like all of a sudden she like it just went to this whole
this,
new
like,
level.
Dough-ish, like, you know,
she became this like dough, like, and then she's like, oh, Inspector, and I was like, I'm doing her, and then it was like the next day that I looked back and realized I was doing her as a fangirl.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, fangirl it is.
And it works so well for the character and the comedy of it. So anyway, but
also, I feel like the people, she's kind of the in of the story, because I feel like the people who are watching, because the Inspector is like the reason we're watching the story, because we love the Inspector, then of course like we're all vicariously the companion.
The human is the connecting character.
Who's like on so we're you know.
You're
so
the
I
audience
was like, and I literally became their star. I was like, well, I'm just playing it as a fan now. This is very meta. Like,
it's awesome, and we have such amazing things planned for Piper. If we can get the movie done, and because everybody knows that.
The movie done.
What?
When
When
we get the movie done.
That's the spirit.
That's the spirit.
But we've got because everybody knows that Piper died in the prequel episode.
Oh my God! Wait, spoilers!
No, it's been out for like 2 years. And so everybody asks, you know, is Piper coming back? And the official line is that Carrie is coming back. But whether or
an eccentric
not
old lady, she's coming along, and they they elaborate and they give.
I've been waiting for 60 years for you to bring me more of this soup, Professor.
Oh God! All right, wait, let me write that down.
Is that what
This
she
is a great
sounds
idea.
Well, this character has to be created. So.
Right? Yeah.
So-
I'm open for like ideas.
All right.
Yeah, inspirations.
Cool.
Yeah.
You should come on my show too.
You know,
Professor
sure.
Puppet.
Which one? Oh, yeah, Professor Puppet is awesome, and you
Puppet
should
or
do
Puppet?
Puppet.
Oh,
You got
okay.
a sticker right there. This is,
Professor Puppet.
yeah, that's
Do
my
I get
YouTube
to play
channel.
with a puppet?
Well, yeah,
Well, he's the puppet.
Oh.
well,
Do I get to put my hand in you?
well, you don't get to put your hand in him.
But
But he does do
I get to put my
a.
hand in something, right?
Do you still do Hans on Sex?
No, Hands on Sex. I did Hands on Sex
Because it was funded, right?
It was sponsored by
sponsored.
Adam and Eve, which
Yeah.
is the sex toy
And
company.
they stopped that.
Well, they ordered like a certain number of them.
Oh,
I
okay.
think they owe me some money, as a matter of fact.
Oh.
But yeah, I'm just sort of without them paying for it, I don't want to do it.
Sure, of course.
And
Oh.
you know,
I was
I think
wondering
it's
why
a-
this
I
was
was
such a fix.
I know, right? I was like, it's a coaster, and I was like, no, it says it's a sticker.
It's a
I was
sticker.
like,
Well
wow.
done.
I was like, what? Done.
For those listening, Carrie just broke the sticker in.
you know,
Yeah.
two stickers
Two
apart
stickers
from
out
each
of
other.
it.
I
You
just,
see, this is Professor Puppet.
the
here.
magic. The magic.
And we just do this little, you know, and I'll get like a 2-shot, and we'll do like an interview like that, you know.
Oh, I get to talk to the puppet.
Yeah.
He's the YouTuber.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yes.
It's actually a lot of fun.
Mark's
I've been
just
on
along
several
for the
of
ride.
his
I love
channels.
it. I love it.
But if you come
Um,
over as part of the deal, you could do a couple of Professor Puppet videos and a couple of Mark Gray videos where we play ukulele and sing songs.
I'm not singing.
You don't say?
No.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Travis
You-
is gonna make you sing.
Next
now.
topic.
No, I just.
Next topic.
Well, in that case, if you want, we
Next
can do a craft.
A craft.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll make something.
You like crafting?
That's fun.
All right, cool.
Well, one of your big success is doing voiceover work.
Yes.
You are huge in voiceover. You do.
I'm fat. Did you just call me fat?
Yeah, you are fat. You are
I barely
obese.
fit in the booth. I
You
barely
are
fit
obese in
the booth
voiceover.
That's a very fat read.
You are.
Yeah.
Can you be skinnier this time?
Do it again, but skinny.
I actually had to play a young boy once. This is years ago, and the direction of the game was like, he's like, think of like a fat young Keanu Reeves.
That's very
What?
specific.
Got it.
But yeah, I was like, what?
You gotta bring it back.
Oh, the voice tore up my.
Whoa.
I literally, I begged after every session. I begged them to recast me. It like
Really?
tore up my voice because
Wow.
they're like fatter. Oh my god,
Fatter.
Like I have a very like light, thin, high voice. Like I don't have like I'm not one of those people who has like a lot of like low end texture.
Right,
You know what I mean? So like
yeah.
I have to like really, really work for it. So it tore me up.
Speaking of which, I need to remind we're that Inspector Space on Cartoon thing that I told you
Oh.
about. We're ready to move forward and do the voicing on that. So we need to actually get that done.
Yes.
Side note, I forgot about that.
Side note.
Well, you can call her agent, and he'll set it up for you.
Have
The
his people
manager.
call your people. It'll be
Make
great.
sure that you're available.
And then 3 months from now, we'll
Yeah.
finally maybe.
We'll finally
Get the contracts are all in order this time.
Or you could just text me.
Yeah,
We'll
I
work it out.
guess
We'll
so.
work it out.
From across the table?
Yes, it's
Hang
not
on.
real unless
Seems
it's
kind of
text.
impersonal. I don't know.
But so yeah, tell me some of the stuff you've done. You've done lots of anime.
Yeah, yeah. Kill La Kill is on Cartoon Network right now. It's a Saturday night Toonami block, and it played in the 12:30 slot, and then completed its run, and then they brought it back recently, and they put it in the 3 a.m. slot. So we're back on. I think we're on episode like 4 or 5 is about to air.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I've been doing more convention appearances and meeting fans. That's always so interesting and fun and strange and kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like,
Do you dress like your character?
Okay, so here's the thing. At AX, this the
Anime
big
Expo?
Anime Expo,
Familiar?
yes. At over 4th of July weekend, it was
Okay.
like we were doing this huge panel, and it was going to be like the whole cast, like this big deal. It was gonna be probably the last time we all got together because we finished the recording.
Right.
And so I decided the Japanese actress had done like another speech the year before when they came, but I wasn't able to go that year. And so I decided that I was going to do her. But if I was going to, I had to one up it. I had to like, if I was going to do it, I had to do like,
Yeah, you gotta bring the heat.
but like do more than
Yeah.
So I did like the active UNCUT version. So like the one like I PG-13'd it up and made like a bikini
Sure.
instead of a thong. You know
Right.
what I mean? So like I ended up dressing as my character and surprised all the fans.
What's your character?
Surprised all my fans at AX and when I came out, and it was pretty awesome. They
That's
were all
pretty
really
cool.
super happy.
What's
What
the
was
name of your
awesome is that like she has this like really long black wig, and I was like, I felt so epic like wearing that wig. Like I was like, ooh, all this hair back there. I was like, this is amazing.
You just toss
What's
it
the name
back.
of the character? I want to look it up.
I'll type it in.
Type it in.
It's,
Now, do you
it's
watch
on
the
TV.
show as well? Are you a fan of it, or?
I love this show. I love this show. Also, I had to watch this particular show. I had to watch. This particular show I had to watch before I recorded it because she's kind of the mastermind of the show. So I had to watch like all the way through episode 16 to understand what's going on in 1. I had to watch through like 22 because I had to understand what's happening in 8. So I had to watch it, and I love it. This show is like kind of my favorite blend because it's like got a lot of like action and fighting and stuff, but it's also like really like dumb funny. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So it's got like it's really big, it's really over the top, and also the studio who did it, they understand the fan base. There's a lot of like references, like it feels like there's a lot of like nudges to the fans. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I
So
just-
it's a
I think
little
it's
bit
really
Is this the
well
look you did for Comic Con?
yes, but I made it into a bikini bottom.
Okay.
Yeah, because I didn't want my.
You don't want your
I
entire
don't know
butt
how.
hanging out.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I was
Goodness.
like, I don't know how often they clean those chairs. So.
No, not
Yeah, not that one. That's the.
Surely there's a picture of you.
I probably have.
We'll have to. We'll
That's
post it to our
another
Facebook page.
binder there, very prominent.
Yes. Yes. Well, what I discovered is that fan art fans just love to draw pictures of your character's butts.
Oh,
No matter
sure,
what
why not?
character it is,
Really?
they love.
Butts are
they're-
pretty easy though. It's
So,
just a couple of curves.
Anime
Yeah.
is a weird genre. It's like there's always this heightened reality. It's sort of sci-fi. It's
Well,
sort of magical. It's sort of for children. It's sort of for weirdos and adults. And it's
well,
sort of for
I mean,
everybody.
the thing that's amazing about anime specifically is that like it's actually the storytelling inside. It holds so many different styles of storytelling.
Right.
You know, like so what we sort of start to understand is like Sailor Moon or something like. There's like this genre of like magical girl shows that are like very like fun and happy and da 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 da. But I also did another show called Madoka Magica, which is like super 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 dark.
Yeah.
Like, really cool, really interesting visuals, like very dark, very cinematic. Fate Zero, which I was in, it's also very, very cinematic, very dark, very
Yeah.
very like small, simple performances. So it's like inside that genre, it really does hold like all the storytelling styles. I just think that the one that's like more commonly known is like the really happy go like punk.
Well, your character here, you've got
Yeah.
kind of boots and a kind of a short dress and a sword.
That's my schoolgirl
Kind of
uniform.
pointy ears too.
And-
The sword is part of your schoolgirl uniform?
oh yes.
Okay.
Oh, I run the school with the Iron Fist.
Yeah, she's got
I'm kind of a
epaulets. So she's
fascist.
clearly in charge.
I'm a
She's got
villain.
epaulets
Oh,
on her
okay.
This is my first villain.
Nice.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Well, what's with the elf ears? Some kind of elf thing, or
What are you talking
don't you
about?
have pointy ears there?
No, those are clips in my hair.
Oh, okay.
Those are clips.
Hair clips. Mark?
Men.
Those
Men.
are like pointy
Seriously.
I
ears.
can't even.
Like elf.
Seriously.
Okay, that picture, that's a clip. That's clearly a clip in that picture.
Yes.
I get it.
Yeah,
All right.
they're clips in every picture.
Nice.
They never change to ears
But
and then become
I'm
clips.
not crazy.
Like,
There are a
they're
lot of
just
anime
never-
girls have funny, like animal ears. A lot of them do.
I would say a lot. But I mean, also we have
It
to
really
wonder
depends
like,
on the show, too.
the show and like whether they're in transformation mode or not, and
Of course,
you know,
obviously.
there's a lot to it and stuff. But what I like about it is that it does have so many aspects of its storytelling.
Now, you say you watched the whole show. Does that mean you watched like the original?
Yeah.
And with the subtitles? And
Well, no, she recorded it,
Yeah, I
And
watched.
then
I watched the original. Yeah.
sent the new show back in time for
yeah,
herself to
exactly.
watch,
No,
so that she would know how to do the voice.
well, I was just wondering how much difference there was between the direct translation with the subtitles and then the dialogue you ended up recording. Do you know what I mean?
Hey-o, there we go.
Hey, there's my picture.
Wow.
You know, the Alex Von David is the director and writer for both Madoka Magica and Kill la Kill that I got to work with, and he's incredible. He's wonderful, and most really good writers, they don't do it like a direct translation. So it'll go from Japanese into English, which is like someone will just translate it directly,
Yeah.
and then that'll be like the final column in the Excel file, and then there'll be a writer that goes in and has to adapt it for the lip flap and also for
Yep.
story and for
Sure.
understanding and just to make things sound like English.
Idioms.
But well, what really struck me, like I always knew Alex's writing was really good, and but then we had taken a break, and then we were coming back and doing this section where it's like, this is the time where we tell you what's going on.
Mhm.
But unfortunately, like that doesn't happen with my character. It happens with the main character, the main protagonist.
Mhm.
She's being told what's going on because my character already knows. So I had actually went back and rewatched it just to remind myself of like all the details of like what's going on.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's when I really saw how good his writing is, because he literally will just reorder things. Even he's like, well, I'm not going to mention that here. I'm going to mention here because it makes more sense to like. So he, instead of doing even like a direct just localization of the translation, he will like kind of rearrange things in the story so that it makes sense and it
Oh, wow.
flows, and like what characters talk in what way and what words they use versus others. So and I think that maybe like back in the day it was a more like straight, but I think that like a lot of the writers that I read and work with now, they're much more. They're writers.
There's
you
got
know?
to be a little more artistry in the
Yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah,
a
it's
lot
not
of them
just
are
translations.
actors as well. They've acted, they're directing, and they're writing. So they understand the performance. They understand what it is to be in the booth. They understand the story. You know what I mean? So I think people are, and I think a lot of the companies are giving the time. Like they also appreciate, they recognize, everyone sort of recognizes, oh, that's what that looks like.
Yeah.
Someone set the bar higher. And
The better it is, the better.
yeah, like Stephanie Shea is a great writer. Patrick Seitz, great writer. So there's a lot of people out there that are they're awesome at doing more than just like localizing. Yeah,
Have you done video games?
yeah. I've done a bunch of video games. Actually, I just had Tales of Hysteria just came out like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How is that? Is that different because it's less linear?
Yeah, it is. Well, Tales of Hysteria is a little bit more by scene, so it's like a little bit less. But then the Neptunia series that I do is like will just be like the lines, and it's so interesting. Like, well, if you're ever dubbing something, like doing anime, like today I have a session for Miraculous Ladybug, which is the new show that I'm doing for Nickelodeon, and that's coming out of France. And so you have the pictures, you kind of see, and you have like emotional context or whatever. So even if you don't have the other voices, like you have like a general idea of what's going on.
Yeah.
Also, you kind of get breaks because you like watch it back, you watch it down, then you do it, and then you
Yeah.
watch it down, then you do it. Though Miraculous Ladybug, out of like in Europe they do it totally different. Here we do like a beep, like so you go beep beep beep.
Talk.
And then on the fourth final, the phantom beat is when the mouth will open and then you go from there.
Right.
But they do a thing called Rhythmo Band. So it's kind of like karaoke.
Yeah.
So it's like written, it's in handwriting at the bottom of the screen in this like rhythmo band. I have a section I can show you.
In handwriting.
Yeah, in handwriting, because what they'll do is they can pull out the writing to make it fit to time to the flap. So if it's like, if it's just like S-O, right, it'll be like, so what are you doing? You'd be like, it'd be like, so what are you doing? But if it was like S-O-O, it'd be like, so what are you doing? Like, so like the band will go. I have a video
Wow, that's
of it.
interesting.
I'm allowed to pause for a second, right?
Well, I feel like that might be more helpful, right? Because it's as far as the timing goes. I mean, because then it's not, the onus isn't on you to time it to the flapping of the mouth.
But you still have to time it because you still have to time that, and you're still like, it's harder because you're kind of like looking at both things. Like when you're beeping, you look down, you memorize the line, you look up, and you can just be with the visual, with the line in your head. But this, you're reading it as you're matching it, as you're acting it.
Yeah.
And when I first went in, I was like, oh my god. And you're also doing like long passes, like you'll just do the whole scene.
Yeah.
You know, and then you'll go back and pick up.
So you're just reading it live, just
in
like
a weird
cards.
way. Yeah, in a weird way. Like it's more like teleprompter. You know?
Yeah,
So
okay.
it is a different like. So at first I was like, oh god. And the engineer said, he goes, listen, give it like an that's my crackers. Sorry, I'm on antibiotics and I'm having like all the side effects. I'm just like it's like I'm having morning sickness. I'm just like nauseous and headaches all day long. It's okay, I'm almost done. Thanks for your concern. You just stared at me.
I was.
Thanks.
No, I was
You
concerned.
said odd.
Oh.
You just were like,
trying to give you empathy. I was trying to
you
like,
were not.
No, you said
Quiet.
I was thinking about you
Quiet.
having babies. Is what I was
Tiny,
thinking
quiet
about. I
everything.
was trying to.
I'm glad someone's
I
thinking
was
about
spinning
it.
that whole. I was just like playing that whole,
Imagining what
timeline
I
out
would be.
in my head.
I've had friends of mine that told me that like I'm so like in the body. I so experience the body in such an emotional way that I've had friends of mine flat out tell me that if I ever got pregnant, they would like head for the state line.
Oh, really?
They're like, we are out of here. Okay, so it's like this. Okay. Come on, what are you waiting for?
Wow.
So you see, like you don't. I in my headphones, I hear her talk before. You only hear what's happening live in the room that's getting recorded.
Mm-hmm.
So I heard her in my headphones, and then you just kind of.
So you hear her voice in French or whatever?
No, I meant I heard the other character, the one I'm talking to in that
okay.
particular case. Sometimes you don't have, they're not laid in. Sometimes it's just like a vacuum,
Oh, okay.
and you just do it. So
that's nice.
It depends. For Kill la Kill, I did the entire first volume. I was the first one in.
Oh.
So I didn't. No one. I heard no one. I knew
Wow.
nothing until I went to Otakon like 2 years ago for the East Coast premiere.
Yeah.
And we had an event where we sat and watched the first 3 episodes with fans.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And it was awesome. It was awesome because it was the first time I was hearing everyone's performances, and like we were like fans were cheering, we were like all crying.
Aww.
I get so emotional about that show, but I also feel like I think that you can relate to this just as like an actor or performer, that sometimes when you do something, when you do a project, like a year will go by or something, or 2 years or 10 years, and then you watch it and it's like you instantly remember everything about your life at that time, right?
Yeah.
You're like,
yeah,
oh my god,
yeah.
I remember I was living there and I was doing this, and I was like,
Oh,
and there's certain ones that for whatever reason, your connection to those pieces is so much stronger that like you literally know, you're like, oh my god, you can feel everything. You're like, oh, that was when I was going through that breakup. And I was
Oh no, yeah, it's like whole segments of your life you've totally forgotten.
Yeah.
Right,
'Cause
yeah.
I've shot a bunch of movies, and like I've got one kind of good action film that I did that I would show my classes. Like I showed it like 10 years later. I basically did like a live DVD commentary in the room there,
Oh,
and it was so amazing. Like the stories just came out. I was like, oh my god, I forgot I'm in this scene. Oh, that's me. I remember that dude. That guy was an asshole. You know, and, like,
right.
everything, and like you remember where you were, and you kind of I forgot that I knew this whole group of people and this whole because when you're in a movie, it feels like a family. And you get intimately related with all these people.
Yeah.
And then like wrap and it's over and you might never see any of them again.
Right,
That's
yeah.
an interesting benefit maybe to being an actor, to kind of capture those moments of your life, or you know,
Yeah.
have
Right.
a way to capture those moments and go back and re-experience them. And also, I mean, you know, your ability to experience those with your fans kind of live.
Oh
It's
my
interesting
gosh,
too,
there's
because-
nothing better.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Because a lot of times, unless you're a stage actor, if you're doing film and television or web, you release your content and you have no real connection with. But we've
Right, they
been
might
lucky.
make comments or like
Yeah.
I feel like I'm starting to have relationships with people on Twitter because they'll tweet at me so much that I'll be like, oh, I feel like I kind of know this person, or I know, but I'm like, I don't know this person.
And it's weird
we
because
do,
the ones
we
that tweet you the
kinda-
most are kind of the ones you got to be, you know, like,
Yeah, you guys, that's
Yeah,
where
very
you start
careful.
getting fans that you kind of think, this guy's really
But that's
asking
why-
a lot of questions.
You know, but that's also sort of the interesting reason. Like when I first started going to these conventions, and, and I'm sure you went through your own version of this when you started doing the conventions for specifically for Space Time.
Yeah.
Inspector is there's some party that's like, okay, what is this, and what is this for me, and why, what is this whole exchange that's happening here, and you know, because I think it's so challenging when you're your product. How do you live your life and like promote yourself without suddenly slipping into like a total like narcissistic egoic existence, right?
Sure.
You know, and like
Yeah.
so like you're like, okay, well, what is this? Is this like why are they here? Like, what's up? You know what I mean? I had to really like check in.
Were you a big nerd before you started doing? Because I was the type that was going to conventions anyway, and so then to go to a convention but being the focus instead of being the recipient was just the big change for me. It was just that flipping of the.
But
energy
even
level.
that, but that's the thing. Like, you're like, oh wait, now I'm the.
Now people are there to see me.
Yeah, you're like, what is? Whoa, wait,
Yeah.
what is
Oh,
this side of it?
it's still
What is
surreal.
this?
Yeah, it's still
Well,
weird.
that's the greatest. When you have an actual fan come up and like
Yeah,
get
it's
all
so great.
excited, that's so much fun.
I got recognized at In and Out the week when
So
we
many
released the
comments.
first episode of.
So many comments I want to make.
we
Go ahead.
released the first episode of the web series, and so I mean nobody recognized me from Community because it was a show within a show, so my face was like
It was pretty small.
a
Yeah,
stamp
I've been
size.
seeing those episodes lately. Yeah.
Exactly, and so people would know the character Inspector Spacetime and the meme, but nobody knew me from it. Like the first year I went to Gallifrey 1, it was me and I think Chaz was helping me out, and people would walk up to Chaz and be like, "Are you Inspector Spacetime?" And he'd be like, "No, it's the guy wearing the bowler hat."
Guy's a hat. Yeah.
I feel like that would be recognizable.
Right, exactly. But and so
Though a lot of people don't dress as their characters, so you would think the guy standing next to the guy dressed as Spacetime was Spacetime.
yeah,
Not the guy dressed as
true.
Spacetime.
Yeah,
You know,
good point. That's a very good point.
Cases,
That's an excellent point.
Yeah.
So we released
Give
the
the
web
fan a little
series.
credit.
Exactly. So we released the web series, and the first episode got it was at 50,000 views because it got a lot of attention when it was released. And but that's 50,000 people around the world,
Right, yeah.
You know?
Speaking.
And so I was exhausted because I was, I'd spent so much time editing. And a friend of mine took me out, I think it was released on a Monday, and this was a Wednesday. And a friend of mine was like, "I'm taking you to a movie." And so we were going to go to the ArcLight. I was scruffy. I had my glasses on. I had a tank top on. Did not look anything like the Inspector. And I went out to, we stopped at In-N-Out to get burgers, and I'm sitting there waiting for my burger, and all of a sudden this guy goes, "Inspector Spacetime!" And I'm like, how? Of the, 50,000 is a small percentage of the world population, right? So
Right.
for one of those people
So
to be
impressive.
in that In-N-Out at the same time and recognize me not looking at all what I looked like, just blew my mind.
Yeah. And you go like, oh, and then you kind of also realize, like, oh, there's power in the things that we're putting out there. There's they reach.
Yeah,
you know?
which is a
and
great
you kind of go like,
feeling,
okay, what do I want that to be? About? What do I want? Like, what am I sharing? You know, like,
Exactly.
what intention am I sharing?
Yes.
You know.
Do you
that kind
make
of
an
thing.
effort to be positive? Because I make a
Never.
really
I'm a jerk. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
No, I
Yes.
recognize the
Yeah.
influence, and so I make a very concerted effort to put out a positive vibe online. Like I'm almost never negative online.
Yeah. Well, Olivia Wilde, I remember her in an interview talking about how she was like shooting something somewhere. I don't like somewhere in the boondocks of somewhere in Africa or something, and she was like on a camel. All I know is that she was like on a camel, and the guy helping her camel wrangler was like, "Oh, number 13," and recognized her from House, right?
Oh, wow.
And in that moment, she was like, "We have to be responsible to what we put out there.
Yeah.
Like, it is getting out there.
Yeah,
It's
for
getting
sure.
out there." Actually, so I just started building my YouTube channel, and I have a segment that I'm doing called Every Day with Carrie, and it's the people that I carry with me every day. And so I'm asking them people who've inspired me or mentored me in my life. I'm sitting them down and asking everyone the same 5 questions to get their nuggets of information or wisdom to then share it with a larger audience, because I want my channel to have an aspect that is inspirational, that is about living your best life, that is about, and people's being like, oh yeah, there's times when, I was poor, or I was this, or I was that, and that is up and down, that I think there's something about, me personally, my own life, when I've really been struggling, I think the one thing that helped, that is the only thing that's helped at those times, is to be normalized. To have someone sit around and be like, listen, I hear you, that is totally normal for a human being to feel that way. I
Yeah.
get it. I get it. I get it. Someone who can just sit with you and be like, yes,
Yes.
yes, I get it.
It's okay to
cool.
despair.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
Yeah, I've been there. It's totally, you're not outside. You're not unconnected. You're not an anomaly. You belong. This happens.
Yeah.
It's it's natural. It's part of the human experience. And then you can kind of go like, oh, okay. And then you can kind of work your way back. But I feel like it's when we feel the least connected to others and our existence here that like we have the most despair.
That's true.
So like the way that we can connect, and I sort of like that the whole YouTube culture is sort of like this like cross-pollination sort of like, you know what I mean? So it's like really trying to connect through like media,
Yeah.
and the way that you do have access to your fans, you do have access to people. It's changed things. So there's like, challenges to that, but there's also, I think, a lot of like potential, a lot of beauty in that.
I think so too, and I think it's an easy thing for people to be negative and not happy about stuff on YouTube, like where to say, oh, this sucks, and like I have a couple blogs where I would think about things, and I was like, I had blog ideas, and I'd be like, why such and such, sucks or something like that. I was like, but I don't want to do that. I'll put that aside in favor of something funny or something.
I did make a vlog one time after there was a school shooting.
Yeah.
And then, who's that really religious kind of candidate? He's not really in it anymore. Mike Huckabee.
Oh, God.
And so now,
There's so many to choose from.
and like the whole episode was, Mike Huckabee can go fuck himself. Boop, and then like the credits, and then I came back and started talking about guns.
Yeah.
Because he had said that school shootings are because we've gotten away from Jesus.
Oh, really?
Yeah, not the fact that we all like.
Did you hear about this guy? There was some mayor of some city in like, I don't know, somewhere in the South. Basically, they have a pothole problem in their city, but no money. And the mayor literally said that they should pray the potholes away. They should like pray for some sort of solution. And I'm like,
asphalt genie to come.
I don't know. And I'm like,
well, you feel like you give people an action item. That's all they need.
it's just so weird to me. But
because if you can't manage the problem, all you can do is manage the emotions of people, right?
Yeah.
So you say like, okay, well then here you go.
I guess.
Maybe y'all shouldn't be so sinful. You wouldn't have so many potholes, right?
I'm not arguing that the potholes will be solved by prayer. So don't look at me like I'm crazy. Like I get that like potholes need to just be filled in with like asphalt. And cement,
Yeah. You can't fill a pothole with prayer.
You can't. You could. Pothole like you could pray. You could fill it
But the
with.
thing is, they're already filled with prayer.
They are.
But it doesn't support your car.
Right.
Well,
right in there, it breaks your axle.
Yeah. So the solution is to what was it they said on Wait for Something? The solution is to just lower the rest of the street to the level
there you go.
of the potholes, and so eventually.
It's a good first step. It's a right direction. I think you're onto something. We're doing some good work here today.
Right. Exactly.
Sorry, I just wanted to get back to the YouTube thing. It's interesting to me that, and I think like now that you're saying this, that whole thing about putting positivity out there and genuine love for the things you're doing and stuff. Because I've always, like, my roommate loves watching both honest trailers and CinemaSins.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Matthew loves those too.
I love honest trailers, but I cannot stand
They just nitpick every little thing.
Exactly, and I couldn't figure out why that was for the longest time. But with honest trailers, except the movie's like really bad and the comedy comes from that, like something like After Earth. By M. Night Shyamalan, which is just so terrible that it's funny. But with most of the honest trailers, like, Back to the Future, Raiders of the Lost Ark, there's, even if they're making fun of stuff, there's still genuine love for the source material and genuine respect for it. Yeah. Whereas with CinemaSins, it's like, let's see all the ways we can pick this movie apart. We're so clever. Look at all these bad, terrible things it did.
It's not really generally that clever. It's
right. It's just, like you said, nitpicking.
Yeah.
Like, it's argument for the sake of argument.
Well, there's something about, like, there's a difference between cynicism and satire.
Exactly.
Yeah. And satire, ultimately, like, satire does come from, like, a love and a bigger message, because you're using humor to try and, like, break people's minds open. Mm-hmm. And cynicism is just, like, it's kind of like low-level connectivity. Mm-hmm. But I think the reason that it's very popular now is because, like, people in general are connecting on that level, and they don't really realize it. They don't really realize that, like, hey, when I meet you, and, I've already met you, we had a great time. Well, if I met you, and I was like, and we were like, oh, yeah, the weather, yeah, I know, it's crazy. Oh my gosh, I know. That's how we set like a tone that like, that's how we're going to connect. So the next time we see each other, that's how we repeat it.
Okay.
That's how we reconnect. Yeah. So we're forming a fabric of low-level connection.
Okay.
as opposed to, but we're unaware of it. We don't realize that we're doing it. But like ultimately, those relationships, the problem is they can't grow. They can never grow from there because you always have to like reconnect. You would have to like become conscious, both of you inside the relationship, to break it and be like, hey, let's talk about nice things or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's but like a lot of like easy conversation is like, oh, weather, oh, traffic, oh,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So me, like, I will be a total fucking bitch cunt. I don't even care. Like, I will totally, I'll break that. Like, if I can do it in a funny way, I will do it in a funny way. Like, if I'm in a dressing room and everyone's like, people are complaining about their day, and I was like, all right, now everyone has to say something nice about their mother. You know, and it's like silent, and everyone kind of gets, like, everyone, especially in like a theater, like everyone kind of like takes a moment and goes like, oh, they realize what they're doing. Because most artists are a little bit more like aware of their behavior.
Right.
They're like, oh, okay, and they might not say nice things about their mother, but they definitely stop complaining about their moms. You know, like, oh, well, let me tell a terrible story about them. Let me tell a story. But
I'll top that story.
Right, exactly, because then we do that. We're like, and we don't write. It's not
What
even
if you're
as
just the person who always tries to top a story, but with something nice? Oh, well, let me tell you what my mom did. One time I went to school, she made me an entire tray of cookies.
Well, that's okay, but I'm really
gave
good at
them
topping
and I had to.
So
I
came home to a new car.
with cookies.
But I mean, there definitely is a time when you need commiseration, where you need like, hey, listen, I just need to get something off my chest. I just need to like, you know what I mean? But like that has to be, you have to be aware that that's what's happening, and not like unconsciously just like get into these like low level relationships.
And I do make sure. I mean, it's a weird thing. Like I have very few people in my life that I complain to, and it's sometimes it's hard. And like sometimes, like when I go through my like I'll call my mom, and sometimes it feels like all I'm doing is calling her to talk about the bad things that are going on.
But she's the safe place.
She's one of my safe places, and it's weird. So, but yeah, in general, if I meet somebody like driving Uber or something like that, and I'll meet, we get a 15-minute relationship. The question I ask people is, "What's your passion?" And I feel like it's an interesting, and I realize now that we're talking that one of the reasons I love that question is because it automatically starts at a source of joy.
Yes, and that's the difference. Joy is always present.
Yeah.
We just have to like connect to it, and it's so easy to not. I mean, listen, there are a million things. Like, it's not about like avoiding reality and like living in la la land. There's a million things that could take your joy away.
Absolutely.
But you also have the option of having your joy while those things are happening too, simultaneously.
Yeah.
You have that option as well.
Be aware of the difficulty, but fill yourself with the positivity.
That's what always annoys me. People go, "Oh, LA sucks. LA is all traffic," and they go like, "There's people who just hate LA by vocation."
Yeah.
Which I don't get, because I've been here for 30 years.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I get that there's traffic, and I get that it's hot sometimes, and I get that there's, but I just love it.
Oh, me too.
Because it's such a, it's like a rich cultural environment.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I'm coming up on 13 years actually, and you can deal with the traffic, and and sure, people are their default position is to be a little self-involved. It takes a little effort to connect with people, maybe a little more effort than normal than other places. But if you put in that effort, you find all these great people.
Yeah.
And
but I mean, that's the whole thing. Like because your reality becomes your beliefs, your perception. So if you're always connecting with people in a low, like a way, then like all of a sudden the world does look like this like rough place. But if you can find a way to connect, and I just think that humor has such a great opportunity to break that mind loop.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because like a lot of times humor comes from like when someone says something we don't expect, you know what I mean? We get surprised and our mind is like, well, what just happened?
Yeah.
You know? So we have that, like, I think that like humor and the arts have the option to like get us in there, get us reconnected, get us to care, to like open up these emotions that like a lot of society is maybe telling us to like, we don't want to talk about, because we don't talk about the bad emotions. Like, it's okay to bitch about things. We don't really talk about like the fact that like when you're grieving, like if someone gets sick, suddenly like all their friends go away. I had a friend of mine, she's caring for her husband who has Parkinson's, and she was just like, as soon as he like came out as being diagnosed, like her friends just like scattered to the wind. Like no one knew how to like deal with it.
Right.
So it's
Tig
but you have to
Notaro
kind
had
of.
a thing. Did you hear her thing about cancer? Her stand-up routine. Tig Notaro was diagnosed with. Do you pause?
Yeah, I'm just given the power cord here because this
We've got 2 power cords.
Almost dead. Are you good?
Somewhere.
Thank you.
Um,
Still recording. Okay.
Nice.
We are at an hour and 4 minutes, by the way.
Okay, good. Yeah. So yeah, Tig Notaro is a stand-up comedian. She's been around for a while, and she did this really famous stand-up routine now a couple of years back, where she had the worst year.
Like every bad thing happened in a week.
Yeah, no, it was over the course of a year.
Well, it built up in all in a few days. Like her mom died.
No, that wasn't a few days.
And
it was definitely over the course of several months.
And her girlfriend broke up with her.
So she was, the order of events was she was diagnosed with, she had to go to the hospital for something like I can't remember what it was, but she ended up getting C. diff, and so her intestines were kind of eating away. And then when she lost like 20 or 30 pounds. She was like skin and bones. When she got to the hospital, her mom suddenly died. She fell and hit her head and died. She went through a breakup, and then she was diagnosed with bilateral breast cancer. And and then like a week after that diagnosis, she had this set scheduled at the Largo. And so she was going to cancel, but then somebody was like, you should really, maybe you should talk about it. And so she went out on stage and did this incredible set that you can find it online, and it's amazing. But it's about her. It talks a little bit. Not only is her finding the humor in tragedy, but also it's her talking about how nobody will talk to you when you're in the midst of tragedy, or
Yeah, because people don't know how, and part of it's like we don't know what to say, right? But like ultimately we're all just like afraid of death, and we just don't want to face anything that looks anything like death, because then we would have to think about death.
Yeah.
And no one wants to think about death. I love to think about death.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I feel like your whole life, like we all know it's coming, right? And then, but it's like a huge motivating factor for me, because like I want to die well. Like when that moment comes, like I want to be able to be like, yep, all right, cool. You know what I mean? So every day is like, this is today. You got today. You got today.
Yeah.
And even
you do never know. Yeah.
You do never know. And even if I live to be, because I really believe my golden years are gonna be awesome.
Oh, that's right. You're not sleeping in the front yard.
I know, sleeping on my lawn. No cats. So I'm gonna But you
the
want
cats
to
won't stay in the yard with you. They'll be
The
like,
cats will eat you pretty much for you.
I'll just let them roam. I'll be like, but yeah, this idea that like when you look back, like how do you want that moment? What do you want that moment to be? Like, do you want to like exhale? Like, I want to like when that moment comes, like I want to be able to exhale and be like, all right, cool. As opposed to like, and I think you get all these opportunities inside your life to like practice all the little deaths, the endings, the this, and like your relationship to them, and like, oh, my identity, how we're so identified with our relationships or our things or our bank account number or whatever that is, and when those things change or come or go, we're like, we have to kind of, how do we face that? And because we're all individually maybe not that good at practicing it, when we encounter someone else who's like in the middle of it, we're like, I don't know what to do.
It's weird, yeah. And I think it's weird. My instinct is I tend to be a joker in general. Like I tend to joke about things, and you feel so self-conscious when you're talking to someone who has had some sort of tragedy. But thinking back on it, when I've had, and it's not tragic, but when I remember my car was broken into like a month ago, or not earlier this year. And
when exactly?
February
was it a Saturday?
2nd. It was
what was the
overnight.
like?
It was in. I went down. It was obviously it was February.
What time did you see the car?
It was like 10 a.m.
Okay.
Was it like a meter, or was it like in a garage?
No, it was in my garage.
Oh,
and, which was worse because it also felt like kind of a violation. Anyway,
okay, and like
somebody broke into my window.
How far away were you from the car when you realized it?
Probably like 10 feet.
10 feet.
Like 10 feet. Because you were around the corner, and the car that was usually parked next to my car wasn't there. So it's just my car, window smashed, glass everywhere.
Speaking of making jokes.
Anyway, but no, so I took a picture of it, and I was like, God damn it, And then someone posted as a comment, no, that window was only 3 days away from retirement. And
I feel like that was Eric Loyan.
I don't know, it wasn't. It was someone else. But it was a great comment, and it totally I laughed, and it just snapped me out of my own
funk.
I guess just being stuck in my own, wallow.
See, I kind of like when I have something terrible happen that I know how to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember when I was in film school, and there's all this kind of existential stress of creative stuff.
Oh, God.
And pressure.
Never
of
ends, right?
What am I going to, you're thinking, I don't know what I'm going to do for my next, it's all this sort of, and then I got a flat tire one time. I'm like, oh, I know exactly what to do about this. So I just get the thing up,
a problem you can solve.
Solved.
Yeah.
Go $15, the guy fixed the whole tire.
That's true. Like, it's hard. You can't solve the death of a parent or the death of a pet or
something.
But
I kind of like when to have a problem I know how to deal with. I love that.
Yeah. But the thing is, the reality is that like life is all just the unknown. Like it's always just a series. Like you just never know what's coming. You know, like we like to give ourselves the this like idea of like control or like expect, you know. But then you're like, and then something happens and just.
I'll tell you something. Like I was in the hospital last year for like 2 months because I had a motorcycle accident.
Oh, God.
And so I was in this nursing home. But I had, but there's this lack of control because I'm stuck in this nursing home.
Yeah.
But it was like there's a certain comfort to like, well, they're going to feed you 3 times a day. This guy's going to snore for half of the night, you know, and there's have to deal with these little things you have to deal with in your life.
Yeah.
And sort of mastering that. Because I don't know, it was you know, it's not the worst thing ever. You know, it's kind of this. I made like 40 videos while I was in the nursing home because that caused this whole other creative thing to happen. You know? So not all bad things.
I love how I so easily can turn any conversation into like a death conversation. You are welcome.
What is Halloween tomorrow?
Let's talk about like one of the things we usually do on the show is we talk about what we're geeking out about, and Mark and I usually bring lists of things, topics. Are you geeking out about anything right now? Like
I have a buddy of mine who's like very slowly gotten me like totally fascinated with Jane the Virgin.
Oh,
that
okay.
show.
Yeah,
oh my
it's
god,
good. I've been meaning to watch it.
Oh
I'm
my god,
it's billboards.
Just right. Yeah. And I didn't really know what it was. And like Jane the Virgin, I don't know what's happening. She gets accidentally artificially inseminated.
Oh.
Yeah. But it's
so she is a virgin.
Yeah, okay. But it's like a Spanish telenovela. You know what I mean? And the way the way it's shot is just it looks and you experience it. It's like nothing else you've ever experienced. Like just the way it looks, it's like really fun. It's really fun. It's really interesting. Like I love the humor and the tone of it. And
did you start at the beginning?
No, I've just been jumping around. I'm like oh god, no, I gotta go back.
Because I'm wondering if it's one of those things where like does it take a couple episodes to get into it, or will you kind of get the idea after the pilot?
Oh no, I think you get the idea right away.
Okay.
Like you get and also the thing is like there's like because it's a telenovela, it's there's a narrator character who's like previously on this and where we left off was there's literally a narrator like walking you through what's happening.
Oh,
so
kind of like a Desperate Housewives.
Even if you just jumped in, you would be like totally lost. There's a narrator.
Yeah, there was a narrator.
There was a Glee.
There was a.
Oh no, not just the previously.
No, it's a character.
Oh really?
Within the show.
Yeah, it's a character. Yeah,
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, thank you for understanding. I mean, everybody says previously on CSI or whatever.
Previously on Best
I was so.
Yeah, didn't you ever see? There was one of the best episodes. They had this 3-part. They had this 3-part episode of South Park, and when they would at the beginning the screen would say previously on South Park, but Cartman would go previously on Battlestar Galactica. It was great.
Yeah, so it's more than just that trope. It's like the actual character. Yeah, it's cool.
Like Desperate Housewives had
our eyes were like. You got side eye from both directions. Like you said, they were like, "Why is he talking about?"
A shade thrown in there. Have you watched Scream Queens?
No.
That's from the makers of Glee. It's like comedy slasher thing. It's like a sorority house in a college where there's people just keep getting murdered.
Oh yeah, I've heard about it.
And it's just
is it better than Scream, the show? Because I've heard bad things about Scream.
I've never seen that. I don't know, but it's kind of like there's all these really bitchy sorority girls.
Yeah.
A lot of crazy fashions.
And Jamie Lee Curtis.
Like the president of the university. And the woman, the black woman from Reno 911.
Oh yeah,
it's like a campus cop.
Nishi
Nash. Yeah, she's hilarious. And that's a fun show. It's a great campus.
Do you watch The Walking Dead?
Never.
No.
Really?
I've never seen that.
Oh, it's a really good show.
I'm bad. I'm really bad. Like
No, you're good. You're very good at establishing this. Your empathy and everything, right?
I know. No, he was empathy.
Are you sympathy?
Yeah, I might be sympathy. He's
Okay.
empathy.
Yeah, I'm definitely empathy.
No, actually, I think you're actually sympathy and I'm empathy.
Think so?
The actual definition of
I'm apathy.
You're apathy.
Yeah.
Perfect. We got a hat.
I'm just kind of here.
But I was late to Breaking Bad. I binge watched 54 episodes right before it finished.
Yeah.
So I could watch the last 3 episodes with everybody. I just a few months ago I watched all 5 seasons of Game of Thrones in 9 days.
Did you love it?
I'm glad that I binge watched because I don't know
if
I was watching it regularly I would have stayed involved because there's definitely parts where you're like
there's episodes.
Yeah, exactly. See, I'm watching Game of Thrones, but a lot of it. I get it. Winter's coming. God, it's Mark's thing.
Throwback.
We call back. Mark, so the Game of Thrones. I know I'm like friends with people who are friends with George Martin. So it's like I watch it because they watch it, and if I don't watch it, then I'm
Right.
I'm not aware.
You gotta be on. Yeah.
But I'm not super into Game of Thrones. But Walking Dead has a lot of the same. It's definitely nerdy. I love the.
Everyone is so greasy and ugly in it, though.
Well, because it's.
Dirty.
But they really treat the end of the world like it's serious.
That's why I
It's
didn't watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer, because the monsters were too ugly.
Oh, jeez.
What?
I
All the
get
vampires
it.
were
You're
just-
undead.
And you're gross.
No,
That's
but
why I like Scream Queens, because
Yeah,
it's
exactly. I was gonna say, like,
beautiful.
exactly. That's why you like Scream Queens. It's a bunch of sorority girls.
yeah, exactly.
And
But
comedy, and it's comedy as
the thing
well.
I love about Walking Dead that is it's similar to Game of Thrones in that a lot of your favorite characters just die. Like they'll kill people, but in Walking Dead, you're basically following a small group as they will. Whereas Game of Thrones is in like 4 different
It's like
places
different
on this world,
Sure.
and it's just so complicated and so huge. It's hard to keep track.
But because
Isn't
I
there
was
a guy
so
with a high
late,
IQ like you, Travis?
Yeah. I think it's just I don't know. It's weird.
He's in medicine. It's a thing.
but why did that come up now?
Just think, I was having trouble following Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, I missed that sentence. Okay, I was like, why are we talking about
Travis being
Travis
in
and
general.
Samantha?
Just in
Like,
general.
What is going on?
It's funny though. I there are people that are so like brilliant in this world that I'm so intimidated by, and it's just like I think that Chris Hardwick, for instance, is so smart. And I was thinking actually last night listening to his interview with Felicia Day, and I was like, am I smarter than Felicia Day? I mean, I feel like I've got maybe better social skills, although I think she's gotten so much better in the last 5 years with her socializing, but she used to be very kind of awkward. And I've always been this out and very extroverted type of person.
You're a Toastmaster.
I'm just comparing myself to people who are more successful than I am, just to judge the
So
potential
you're
for my own success.
Are you
really.
trying to justify your relative lack of success, or are you
Yeah,
trying to
kind of.
motivate your future success?
Well, it's more just to gauge the potential for my future success. I think.
Right.
I don't know. It's stupid.
Travis, if you
But
can
anyway,
dream
You
it,
should read
On-
Felicia Day's autobiography. It's called "You're Never Weird on the Internet." It's really good.
Most of them, or maybe you're never
Weird on the internet.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah.
So the
Almost, mostly, maybe.
but I went to
sometimes.
this fireside chat
Type in
at
Felicia
YouTube
Day, you'll
Space.
find
Yeah, exactly. YouTube Space held this fireside chat with the creators of Walking Dead, and it was very interesting. They the guy's name is Robert Kirkman. He's the writer of the comic, and he also is doing the TV series. And now they're doing like spin-offs, and now they're starting a production company where they work with other creators to produce.
Other zombies.
Yeah, and it's not just
They
zombies.
built a set of YouTube Space, this really cool
Oh, yeah.
post-apocalypse house,
Yeah,
and people could shoot in it. I couldn't shoot it.
yeah, I know. I couldn't get into it either.
Steve Zaragoza wrote a film that they shot together.
Yeah, I
It's
saw
really
that.
good.
That he did.
No, it was terrific.
Yeah. Oh, is
We're
that
just
the one that
not
went live just a couple days ago?
Yeah, Martin Starr is in it.
Oh yeah. He actually told me I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, I'll
It's
watch
like the best thing like that.
I have
I've seen.
to walk a dog and then get to it.
it. So we're running on time.
Oh,
All right. Well, I just did. Let's
It's
see.
been an hour, dude.
Other things on my list were October 29th was World Stroke Day, which was not what I thought it was. So I was getting all ready to celebrate World Stroke Day.
You celebrate World Stroke Day every day.
Every day.
Every day is World Stroke Day
But
for you.
speaking of
But it's exciting to think that everyone's going to be doing it with you.
You're right,
that one
exactly,
day. Yeah.
exactly. That
Like
would have been
New
nice.
Year's
Like
Eve and
everybody.
masturbating.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. But it's funny about.
If that's the best you can do on New Year's Eve, it's just masturbate.
This is the New Year's Eve
Oh, okay.
of masturbating.
Yes, exactly. This is
You can still
the
masturbate
holiday.
on New Year's Eve if you want
Right.
to.
Oh,
Like,
I know.
I'm not going to judge
Oh,
anyone.
and I will.
Like, do whatever you do, you know?
Just not in the street where it frightens the horses. That's all.
When
You
I was.
could. I mean, just prepare to be arrested.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. I mean,
Or
like,
just
you can do whatever you want.
just cut a hole in your pocket and keep your pants on. But
There you go.
God.
There you go. There you go.
Problem
there's
solved.
There's a lot of
There's a
ways.
solution to every
Sa-
problem.
and most Santa suits are really, there's a lot of room,
Yes, exactly.
you know?
All right, then we're wrapping up.
We're
We're wrapping
wait,
up now.
No, not yet.
It's got
Because
another list here.
there was a story. So when I was about 12 or 13 or so, my parents got me an ultralight lesson for my birthday. So we went to ultralight's like
Hang glider planes.
it's a hang glider with an engine. So it's very light,
Hell
and you're
no.
basically sitting in this. You're basically sitting in this
Your
lawn
parents are like,
chair.
hey, we've got this.
Like there's a movie
We're
where
going
Anna
to put you in a
Penguin.
hang glider
We've
with
got
this
that
engine,
murder
and we're going to
example
shove you
for
off this cliff. We
No, it's
hope
not.
you
You
survive.
take off of
There
a
was a movie with this with Anna Penguin, and her dad was Jeff Daniels.
and a penguin.
Fly Away Home. Yes, I love that movie. as a
And there was
kid.
like a
Oh yeah, where she
Canadian
has to lead
geese
the
that didn't know
geese
how to
home.
migrate.
Yep.
And so they kind of trained these baby. She raised these baby geese, and then got them to follow her flying
Mhm.
with this ultralight.
Yeah.
And this little girl was flying that ultralight.
Yeah.
It's kind of a true story, I think.
Yeah.
And then so they could get them to migrate to Florida.
Yeah.
Right?
So what did you do with your ultralight?
Well,
Did
so
you just
but
fly
it's,
around?
that's not the story. The
Okay.
story is we got to the airfield and we
So
were
what
looking
kind-
for the
what kind of
looking
geese
for
were
the
they?
place. and we met this guy, and we were asking for directions, and he was having kind of a hard time talking, like, and finally he was like, I had a stroke, and we were like, oh, I'm so sorry, and he goes, yeah, stroke to the left and stroke to the right. And it was just funny that he was making fun of his own, and it's a masturbation joke. So there we go, tying it all together.
There you go.
Emphasis on come.
Okay, also, recent report says that herpes, 2/3 of the people in the world have it, so
I saw that article.
statistically, one of us is herpes-free.
2/3
You think so, but
for
you don't know.
us.
But the thing is, the good news is herpes
Not
is
counting
the
you,
super
not
broad.
counting you.
Oh, between you and
Between us three, 2 of us probably have herpes.
But the thing is, herpes is not herpes. I mean, the herpes is this giant category of things,
Wait a
and that's the bad one.
I know.
Space
I'm
herpes in Ice Pirates was this giant thing, actually.
No,
It was
but but the thing, yeah, everybody has this herpes virus. Almost everybody has it.
well,
but it's not
2/3
like
of the world,
genital
apparently.
herpes. That's a different thing.
Yeah.
That's the one you want to watch out for.
Okay, note to self.
No, to self. So 2/3 of the world. Anyway, and they don't test for it when you go into
But like if you have shingles, that's the form of herpes.
They don't test for it when you go into where?
when you
Like
do like
supermarket?
STD clinics.
Like what?
Yeah.
That's
No.
because it only manifests. It like flares up and then goes away, and flares up and goes away. And when it's not flared up, you can't detect it.
Oh yeah, I was always thought it was
I
weird
don't
that
know
when
who at
you
this table has herpes.
I know somebody who has it.
I know a guy who knows a guy, but
Girl,
it's,
sorry.
but it's I always you see those commercials for like a herpes like a medication.
Yeah,
it's
Valtrex.
not about curing it; it's about preventing it.
Yeah.
And
Like
it's like,
because it
can't
tries to
it be
suppress
about
the
curing it?
outbreaks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keeps you from giving it to your lovers.
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, how
Getting
is
it
that?
from.
Can't we work on curing it?
Rather we did. Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. Is
Okay,
it worth it?
you
Is
know,
it worth
What do you do
investigating?
with your days?
Oh.
Get on that.
Anyway.
Yeah, you're in
Yeah,
Mensa, Travis.
seriously.
Come on.
Come on.
All right.
Get
all
on
right.
that.
I get it. We all want to cure herpes.
I hadn't even thought about it.
Anyway,
But
yeah, we are running along. That's all I've got on my list. Did you have anything on your list?
I
Got a couple
saw
minutes.
a new film directed by Steven Spielberg this week.
What?
Bridge of Spies.
Oh,
starring
yeah,
Tom
yeah, Tom
Hanks.
Oh yeah.
Is in theaters
Wow.
and directed by Steven
Okay.
Spielberg.
Yeah. How is it?
It's okay.
That was quite a lot of build up
But I
for
was like,
very little.
wait a minute. As I was
result.
looking, I had like some time to go to the
Yeah.
movies. I was like, oh, Bridge of Spies. Then it said Steven Spielberg. I was like, what? Did he?
Yeah. Had you not?
How is this not getting any hoopla?
Oh,
or
it is. I've seen
yeah,
it all.
we all knew about it.
Did you?
Yeah.
Looks
And I'm
nice.
I think he's been
I'm
doing
not
it.
generally very aware of things
Yeah.
that I knew about this movie.
Yeah.
Well, I'd seen the trailer for it, and I thought, oh, that's interesting. I thought it'd be out like at Christmas time, and there'd be a huge push for it. But then I looked, and it's out, and there's zero push. Because I heard about it on NPR, like they said, you know, this got first, this got second.
Well, it's up
Oh,
against Gem and the Holograms, so
Which
Oh,
tanked
that's not even-
so hard.
yeah.
It,
Yeah, I don't
Well,
know.
like the #1 film last week was like week 4 of The Martian or something.
Yep.
for $50
Oh, really?
million.
I still need to see
and number
the
2 was Goosebumps, which I saw, and it's not amazing, but I had a blast.
But Bridge of Spies it's a real talky, interesting, adult kind of grown-up film. It's not a thrill ride. It's not a joyous adventure, but it's fun if you like legal jurisprudence.
You know, actually,
Wheel
I
of
did
Cheez-It.
see. I did see a movie recently, Meadowland. It had a limited release. It stars Olivia Wilde and Luke Wilson,
Okay.
and there are a couple whose son went missing. But the movie, it doesn't really follow. It's not really following like the investigation into the son. It's really looking at how each of these two people are handling the grief and the trauma of the like not knowing what happened to their kid. 'Cause it picks up like an hour, it picks up a year after the event,
Oh, interesting.
and it's directed by Reed Moreno, and she also shot it as well, and it's
Rita Moreno?
fantastic.
She's
Not
got-
Rita Moreno, Reed, ReedMorano. Not Rita Moreno. No,
Boy.
no.
I mean, sure, it could be a better story if it was Rita Moreno.
It would be a much more interesting story.
Yeah.
Why
I-
is Rita
maybe.
Moreno like a porn star or something?
Oh, she's a
No,
yeah,
she's
she was on.
She's
she was
in
on
like
the-
West Side Story.
she was on
and
Electric
she's
Company.
like-
Yeah, okay,
yeah,
got it,
she's
got it,
yeah.
got it.
Emmy,
Um,
Grammy, Oscar, Tony.
She told me once that I said to stay reading with her, and she told me once that she came to me afterwards and she said, "You're so funny. I nearly pissed myself."
That's good. That's a really
That's
good
a
Rita
good
Moreno.
Rita
Should put that on your resume.
That's what she said to me.
A little quote on your website saying,
Made Rita
I nearly
Moreno
pissed- you're so
almost
funny, I nearly
pissed
pissed myself. Rita
Rita
Moreno.
Moreno.
Yeah.
I should do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
And your
this
special
movie,
skills.
like, but it was one of those movies that like stuck with me.
Oh,
Like
interesting.
I was really thinking about it for like days afterwards.
So-
It was like very haunting.
We do a rating system here called Wheels. We rate on Wheels of Cheese.
Oh, geez.
So
Wheels
1
of
out of
Cheese.
7 Wheels of Cheese. 7 being the best, 1 being the worst.
not a cheese fan.
Well, you can still.
So do you want to?
I would
use the
definitely
real
give this.
cheese.
I would definitely give this a 7. I really like.
You-
It's acted.
It's like the perfect movie.
It's well, okay, 6.5.
Just think of all
No,
those.
I don't think
There's no
I don't think it's the perfect movie
So
because
six.
I don't
Six
really
is
know
still
what
a
that
really
means
good
exactly.
rate. Like
But it's really well. It's really well acted. It's really well written. It's
definitely worth seeing, but
beautifully
you
shot.
probably wouldn't watch
Definitely
it again.
worth shooting. I would watch it again. I would watch it again.
Okay.
Absolutely, I would watch it again.
Is
Even
it
though
called
it's like really hard.
Meadowlands?
It's called Meadowland.
Okay.
Meadowland. All right. And what's Bridge of Spies? Wheels of Cheese.
I'm gonna say 4.
4.
Because
All
You
right.
were gonna say
Slightly
4.
above
I
average.
said 4. I said 4.
Well,
Just
okay.
based on what you said about your review.
Because it was a drag.
Nice.
I liked it, but it was a drag. And it was. I mean, Tom Hanks is really good, and he's always really good, but he's just sort of this middle-aged lawyer doing lawyery stuff.
All right.
And then, it's
That should
he
be the
basically
tagline.
the plot is it's a true story about
Honest Brothers.
they catch this Russian spy in Brooklyn, and
Oh, Russian
he
spy.
defends them, and they kind of recruit Tom Hanks to defend him, and he does like a great job, and he's and, like everyone kind of wants him to lose, and not really trying.
I thought it was about our spy, like an American pilot who.
Here's
Well,
what
they're
happens.
trying to trade. They're trying to trade it, right?
Yeah, that's a true story.
Oh, okay.
Because he basically they wanted to execute him, but he argued, no, you shouldn't execute this guy because he was just doing his part for his country. And besides, if we ever need a spy to trade for one of our spies, because we're doing the same shit,
Yeah.
just not execute this guy. Let's just
Yeah.
kind of treat him right, because just out of karma. And
Yeah.
and then U-2 spy plane
Oh,
crashes,
yeah.
and they got that guy Gary something.
Yeah.
And he's this dolt, and they end up doing the trade on the bridge of spies. And that's it.
Nice. All
But,
right.
but our spy, who Tom Hanks kind of develops his relationship with, is so stoic and stone-faced, this Russian guy. And
You have 4 seconds.
That's
There
his.
it is. That's our timer.
I thought you had 5 minutes to spare on there. But his,
He's gonna take
he's so
that out.
unappealing. That's his character tag, is he like never shows any emotions,
Huh.
which is interesting as a character, but it's not much fun to watch for 2 hours.
All
I
right.
also saw Black Mass,
Yeah.
Oh,
the Johnny Depp one.
yeah. I have no
Oh
interest
my
in
god!
that.
I had
Was it-
no idea what it was about. I didn't
Yeah.
know anything about Whitey Bulger and stuff, but I was like, I was fascinated.
Was it?
I came home. After watching it, I came home and I was like research. I was like looking up on the internet all
Oh,
the stuff about it. Like yeah. Anyway,
Wheels of Cheese. It.
5.
5. All right.
Definitely better than
Wheels of
Bridge
Cheese
of
on Goosebumps.
I think it's 6.
Hey,
Six.
I'm going
wow.
back. I'm gonna
Yeah.
give mine 6. I'm gonna give mine 6.
You have to.
Good job.
I am firmly
I'm-
aware that my childhood nostalgia is coloring my perception of it, and they made it too prey on that.
All
but
right.
I don't care. I have
So
lots.
6 if you're a fan of Goosebumps.
Yes.
All right.
Well,
If
your
you're
opinion-
not,
I don't
probably
think I've
like
seen
a
any
4.
movies.
Your opinion is never wrong, because it's an opinion.
Yeah. Yes.
Travis doesn't agree.
Travis does not agree with that.
Travis disagrees
No,
with
no,
your
no.
opinion.
I just
And
think that
thinks it's wrong.
I just think the qualifications are important to know where you're coming from with your rating as a Goosebumps fan. So.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, if you're not a fan, it's probably like a 4 at best.
Alrighty. Cool. Well, awesome. Carrie, thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you so
in. It
much
was
for having
great to
me.
have you on the show,
Me
and
and my
always
crackers.
fun to chat with you because I don't think we tend to go to other places to
They're
catch
light
up.
salt, so they're not going to be what you expect.
Okay. I'll put you on the microphone here. Go on, carry on.
We go to other places in order to catch up with each other. So it's.
I know.
So you said it last night. It was amazing. We drive an hour to.
Catch up when we live like 15 minutes away.
Yeah, exactly.
More
we
than
should,
an hour,
We
yeah.
should do like coffee or something. Wasn't there a period of time where you were pissed off at me for?
Oh God, yes.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Because I
We had
remember,
to have
all I
a little
remember is
sit-down. We had a little
feeling.
sit-down.
I just remember
Oh, really?
feeling awful
What's the
that
crux
you
of the
didn't
matter?
like me for some reason.
Yeah,
Oh,
why were
God.
you pissed off at
Oh,
him?
it's okay. We worked it out. It's good, guys. Everything's
Oh, we'll
good.
talk about it in the next podcast because we're out of time.
No!
Yeah.
Cliffhanger.
Tune
Alright.
in next week for the exclusive story.
Uh,
Bye.
All right, great. Well, thank you very much, and we will see you guys if you're watching us on. Remember, you can watch us on YouTube. Search for Boycott Radio,
Please
and
like and subscribe and all that jazz.
yeah, find us
I
on
feel like I
Facebook
should've
and
been
Twitter.
sitting like this the whole time.
No, because then you're not connecting with us.
Bye.
It's not about
I'm
them. This
serious.
is kind of like
This is my best
somebody's. If you
My
want to
best
feel like you're
view.
spying, exactly. You get a little shoulder action there. I like that.
Oh my goodness.
I feel bad that I wasn't wearing a tank top.
I'm feeling
All right.
overclimped.
All right, guys. Thank you so much, and we'll be back next week with another episode of Boycott Radio. Later.
Goodbye.
Bye.